And looking to this interview that we're bringing you now, before there was a Kagiso Rabada or a Dale Steyn, there was White Lightning. Known for his smooth bowling action and terrifying speed, Allan Donald is one of the great fast bowlers that the game has ever seen. And these days, he's nurturing the talents of the likes of Kwena, Maphaka and Lutho Siphamla as a bowling coach for the Lions. Allan joins us this morning to reflect and look back at what the last 30 years of democracy in sport has looked like in South Africa, and also speaking to what he's currently doing now in progressing the sport of cricket. A good morning to you, Allan. Thank you so much for joining us on Sports on Morning Live.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
I'm going to have to take a screenshot of this because this is the only picture I can get with you at this moment. But before we talk to what the past 30 years has looked like in terms of democracy in sport, let's perhaps speak to what you're doing now out at the Lions. We see you guys are in the business end of the T20 challenge, and we've seen the likes of Kwena, Maphaka leading that bowling unit so impressively, despite what was a challenging opening match against the Titans. Your thoughts on this, Allan?
Yeah, look, it was a heck of a wake-up call, that first game. Being trounced, and you always go away from that, and you go sleep on it, and you think how your team's going to bounce back from that loss. And we've had some tough words in the Lions' den, and the response was just phenomenal, winning the next four on the bounce, and now finding ourselves in the final on Sunday, so it says a lot about this character of this team, and I've got a group of guys also. Last year we had the luxury of having some amazing internationals in our group, and they're all now representing South Africa. They're currently in Bangladesh, and that's we kept on saying it's now the time for the young guys like Kwena, Kwena, Maphaka, to really come through that door and smash it down and make that, cement their spots. And that's exactly what they've done. Yeah, look, it was a really, really clinical performance since that first loss. And now we look forward to yet another final at the Wanderers on Sunday afternoon.
And congratulations to you for making that final. You speak so much about character of players, and I want to touch on some of the players that you've had the ability to coach and those that you've played with. I mean, we look at you coaching both Kagiso Rabada and Kwena, Maphaka. You played with the likes of a Sean Pollock and a young Dale Steyn. What kind of character traits would you say these bowlers have that are similar, and what makes them so special?
Yeah, we are a bit different, aren't we, fast bowlers? There is a different character. There is a different streak in them. There's I would say that refusal, discontent. It's although we play in a team sport, once you got that ball in your hand and you look down the runway and it's you and your opponent. So it becomes you and him. And I think that. If you look at Kwena, if you look at KG, if you look at Dale Steyn, Sean Pollock, they all had those characteristics. They all had those traits of being ferocious competitors. And I guess it's what makes legendary sportsmen legendary. You just have to all be fascinated about Michael Jordan's Netflix series. About his mindset, and that's exactly what these guys have got. That's exactly what makes these guys so great. Is that inner deep ability to fetch something special that most people don't have, and that's what's made KG such an amazing cricketer. And if you look at where his greatness lies, you just have to go into his stats. Nobody in the game has played 65 test matches and a strike rate of 39, and it's taken him 11,817 deliveries to do so. The first guy to do so was Waka Yunus, at 12,000. So just the consistency and the ability to perform and the leadership that Cage has shown over so many years, and he's only 27, 28, I'm not quite sure, but he is just a fantastic competitor. I mean, you watch him every time he grabs that ball, he becomes a different beast, and You know, and the same for young Kwena Maphaka. I mean, he's going to be a great. There's no question about it. It's just a matter of time and process how he gets set about it, going about his job. Yeah, I mean, it was great while it lasted, and I was very fortunate to have played with some amazing guys, and that has helped me through it.
You speak about legendary players, and I want to touch on one now because we look back a couple of years ago. There's a certain player that took a 5-wicket haul for South Africa in our first ever ODI, and you became the third bowler to take a 5-wicket haul on debut. Talk to me about that experience and representing the green and gold of South Africa in our first ever international match following readmission up against India. Although it was a loss for the country, it was a beautiful performance that you gave.
Yeah, it was. We were just so excited to be there, and I'll never forget the bus ride from Calcutta Airport to the hotel, where thousands and thousands of people welcomed us all the way to the hotel, which took about 2 hours. It should take only 35 minutes to get to the hotel. But you know, we were told that 107,000 people bought tickets, and when we arrived at the ground that morning, there were thousands outside that couldn't get in. You know, I think Dr. Bacher's message was pretty clear for us that morning, was that we were just going to be enjoy this moment, enjoying being back. It was a historic moment because it's India that voted us back into international cricket. I mean, yeah, we batted first, and walking out as a group onto the field that morning, and just saying thank you to that crowd. The ovation that we get was something amazing. But just to walk away from that, taking 5 wickets in that game was even more so special. You know, you on the bus to the hotel, I just kept thinking, this is the arena that I want to be in. If this is the international stage, I want to be part of it for a long time to come. And yeah, being the first South African to take 5 wickets in that ODI was something really what that I've treasured for a very long time and still will be.
Indeed, and we'll help you treasure that as well, Allan. And as I just start to wrap up with you, I do have just about a minute left. I want to touch on your relationship with the former captain, Hansie Cronje. Talk to us about that, because you almost had this brotherly camaraderie between the two of you, and I can imagine that he would have lifted your head after that 1999 World Cup semi-final. And even when he went through those troubled times, speak to me about how that was for you.
Yeah, plain and simple, he is my brother that I never had. He is a very, very special, he was a very, very special man. We shared a lot together. As youngsters growing up, we plotted a lot together, and his ideas was always, you know, it's amazing. I mean, he was so far ahead of his time as a young guy. He knew what he wanted to do. He knew what his success stories looked like. He was just incredibly intelligent person. And I remember World Cup 99. After that, we had one heck of a chat on the way back to South Africa and even in South Africa. And it made me feel extremely better. You know, and it's taken me a long time to get over that for sure. But an incredible human. I know he's been through he was through some very, very tough times himself. And we sat together as well and thrashed that out over a 4-hour meeting in Bloemfontein. So, look, I mean, every time you think about it, you get a bit choky on it. But an incredible guy, and will always be missed.
Oh, Allan, thank you so much for your time this morning. It was so lovely just chatting and looking back at where it all started for cricket in South Africa. And we see the progress that has been made now, particularly with the women reaching 2 back-to-back finals. We had the men earlier in the T20 World Cup final. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Allan Donald, legendary South Africa's former fast bowler, out now at the Lions, bringing up the likes of Kwena Maphaka. That's the note in which we wrap up your sport news for today right here on Morning Live. Have yourselves a blessed weekend.